Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everybody who is watching me, who is not. I am going today to go live from this room that we are having. Even last week we were here. So like this we can talk a little bit more about occupational therapy materials, and maybe you have other questions that you would like to ask me about our job and so on. So let me start with let's see if someone will be joining us today. I hope yes. I'm just going to do the introduction a little bit, a couple of times until the people will join. Let's see what we are having today here. We have some puzzles. I will take the opportunity that I'm here streaming to clean up a little bit and to show you a little bit as well what we do, no? If we're having different type of assessments, or for example, if we are having different type of materials that we are using in occupational therapy. So I think it's a good time now to start. I'm just going to go today. I brought a big carpet with me, okay, a big folder, carpeta en español, a folder, and today we're going to check a little bit around what we are having here. So hi, my name is Lisa. I am an occupational therapist and I am here in Malta in Panacea Therapy Center, and we work with children with special needs. Not only children, though, I have to say that we were having as well adult. We're starting working with some adults as well, but mainly with kids. And today I'm going to check some materials with you to go through some of the materials that sometimes we are using in occupational therapy, especially if we're talking about the handwriting, okay? So if you're having kids who has difficulties with handwriting and you have some particular questions, drop the question in the conversation, okay? I am saying hello to anyone who is connecting, disconnecting, connecting again. I hope this can be interesting for you. And the way how we can make it even more interesting is if you talk and ask me questions. Yes, so like I said, today I have my folder where we have different type of materials for occupational therapy in order for us to improve the handwriting. Okay, so for example, with the first, I'm just going to show you how we can be. So let me start like this. If we are having a kid who is having difficulties with writing the numbers and the letters, we usually will be having that as an information, but we are going to start building up his tolerance, his hand control, pencil control, with other activities. So we are going to be using puzzles, we are going to be using lacing or threading, we are going to be using therapeutic putty, and also pre-writing skills. What are the pre-writing skills? So we use a lot of laminating papers. So we are going to be using thick lines where the child will have to connect from dot to dot. Okay, so for example, this could be a first activity that you could do if you want your child to improve in handwriting, in letter formation, number formation, or be a little bit more precise while writing. Now we're talking about here from 4 years onward. Okay, depends on which country you are. I don't know how at what age you're introducing the letters. But these pre-writing skills are good even to start with kids earlier, 2.5, 3 years old. So, because this is not writing letters or numbers, this is just a pre-writing skill. So, this pre-writing skill is required, for example, in a sheet like this, we are going to have to connect from dot to dot or from rhombus to rhombus, okay? And as you can see, as you notice, we start with a very thick line. So visually, it's easier and also the child can have it can be easier and more interesting for the kid to actually do and finish the task. After this thick line, okay, which is about I believe 2.5 3 centimeters, somehow we have a lot. We are going to also have, for example, like this one. Now there you don't have to use the same, you can be using different, but this has animals, and you can have maybe something a little bit more connecting with working on logic. No, so there is the hedgehog and he's eating an apple, so the child will have to draw a line connecting the animal with the fruit. All right, and then slowly we're going to be working on smaller lines. So we are going to start with a wide line, okay, so big one, and then we go to the small one. And the small, it's about 1 centimeter, 0.5, 1. You can do it gradually. You can do 4 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter, 0.5. So it's up to you, depend on the age and depend on the difficulty, okay, on what exactly you are working on. So this could be, once the child finish here, which is a long line, it's very important for you to always make sure that your child is writing from left to right, okay? We never start the opposite, because when we read and when we are writing, we are doing from left to right. Okay, so here we have a thick line. And after this, what we are going to do is we're going to do something a little bit like this. Shorter lines, but with an indication of we start from the green, we stop in the red. So green means start, red means stops. And I need to start and finish. This concept, it's very important. This will help you to make sure that the child knows when to stop and not continue just dragging the pencil and maybe stay between lines, etc., etc. So this is very, very important. Now, as you can see, and for those who are joining now, hi to everybody. Feel free to write me, feel free to ask me questions. I will keep chatting, okay? But this is a chat with Lisa, so I really appreciate if you have questions, ask them. As you could see, we start from big, thick line, and we end up in something smaller and a little bit more, even the size, more controlled. This means that the level of the handwriting should be good, better, way better, when we are on this type of level. You never start with something like that unless if the child is already writing some letters and numbers, and then you would like maybe just, to push a little bit and to practice a bit more. In the next level that we need to do, we're going to work on circles, okay? So we level up and we are going to for example, ask the child to draw the circle. So you did the dash. That means you draw the line, and now we're going in circles. You have to understand that when we are working on circles, you are mastering the fundament for number formation and letter formation. It's very important that when you start working on circles, you do anti-clockwise. So not clockwise, anti-clockwise. That means that we start from the green, we go all the way, and we come to the red. Okay, red means we stop. Why anti-clockwise? Because when we do the letter C, when we do the letter A, when we do the letter S, when we do the letter F, etc., etc., we do anti-clockwise movement. So it is very, very, very important that you practice the circle in anti-clockwise. If your child is doing clockwise, we have to change that as soon as possible. It's not meaning that it's something wrong, okay? I'm just saying that if we are going for the handwriting and we need to improve letter formation and number formation, it's interesting to see if your child is capable to do clockwise or anti-clockwise circle, okay? So this is something that I really definitely suggest you to check out. So in this case, we are going to do the circle. So we did the line, We did the circle, okay, and now we are going to complicate a little bit more the skills or your kids' handwriting skill. Basically, we are going to try to start doing diagonal line, okay? So we are having something like this, okay, which we still have from top to bottom, so we go from green to red, but as you can see, they are inclinated, right? So we are trying to level a little bit the difficulty while we are working on pre-writing skills. So for those who are joining and going and coming and so on, hi to everybody. My name is Lisa. This is Wednesday chat with Lisa, and today we are talking about pre-writing skills. And we are talking about how best to help your kid to get a good letter formation and number formation. Now, we said that it's very important to start with thick lines, and so something like this. Then it's important to proceed to circles, okay? And then we are going to complicate a little bit more with diagonal lines, okay? Important. Hi Ebrar, I'm going to answer you in 1 second. It's important that the circle is anti-clockwise, okay? So, Mela, I am going to put this back while I read the question. Hello Lisa, I have a client who is 9, are bothered of looking of foods, so he doesn't want to eat them if they don't look nice, or bothered of the smells of foods when he is in mealtime at school. All right, so this is a little bit of different topic. However, thank you very much for asking. I am going to answer you straight away. And if someone has continuation, then we continue with the topic, okay? Just one small stop before we continue with pre-writing skills. So, I mean, he is 9 years old. Does he or she, I think it's he, yes, he has a diagnosis or not? Are we talking about a child with autism? Are we talking about a child with sensory processing disorder? Or there is no diagnosis? ADHD. Okay, so at 9 years old, I can imagine it's a little bit more complicated to answer it straight away like that, because I would need a little bit to see the case with a lot of information, you know, because it's a 9-year-old. So we have 9 years, and yes, I guess he has also sensory processing issues, yes. Being 9 years old, there are a lot of different things that I can imagine the parents already tried and not. So I would need to see the case a little bit more close. What I can say from the first kind of look and a fast feedback or opinion, it will be to try to work the food not at school. So unless if you have at school you have support, someone who is one-to-one with the kid who can check this out, then yes, maybe you can incorporate food in the school, but I will definitely work in the therapy or at home, and I will separate the food. So we separate the food that he is tolerating, and we put on the side all the food that he is not tolerating, and we start checking around how we can mix. Most of the time, if the child is not tolerating the smell or the way how they look, we need to be a little bit more creative. And well, I always suggest to the parents, you know, make sure that your plates are separated, divided, you know, that it's not like whole plate. I'm going to bring you now the plates that we are using here. For example, if the child likes particular color, maybe we can introduce food of that particular color. But you know, it's a very big question and quite a big case for me to just tell you, a couple of suggestions. I would definitely not work at school because it can, irritate him more if he is so sensitive, and definitely see how we can improve the creativity on the plate. Now, let me bring you the plate that we are using here so I can explain myself what I mean by it. So we are using sometimes plate like this, okay, which is very basic, it's nothing extraordinary, but we are using plates like this that can first of all easy fall on the floor. They are not going to break because they are made from strong materials, okay, but it's still tipo plastic, okay. This is bought in IKEA, I believe, so IKEA is quite international, but very easy to use. And as you can see, there are different places, no compartments, kind of like divided by parts. You can put the veggies, you can put the rice, you can put whatever, a sauce. So sometimes it's very important that if we are presenting the food and the child is already quite picky, because we are talking about a 9 years old boy, we have to make sure that maybe we can play with the food that he already eats and slowly add the food that he doesn't tolerate. So, for example, let's say he eats pasta and he eats tomatoes, but he doesn't tolerate cheese. So we can be placing the pasta, we can be placing the tomatoes, and we can add 1 or 2 pieces of cheese. It's not meaning he has to eat because it's not mixed with the rest of the food, it's just there. Okay, and if he eats, good, and if he not, but he's tolerating the food on the plate. So this is the most important thing. Sometimes it's not about how many food we are going to introduce, but also how we are introducing this food. Okay, so I will definitely work with something like that visually it can help and reinforce a little bit this trials of try new food. Regarding the smell, it's very complicated because I would how we can remove the sensitivity and being super picky about the food and the smell. It's perhaps if we are introducing, I will put an example, a banana, and he doesn't tolerate the smell of the banana, we can actually in the therapy sessions or at home start placing a banana in different places, or maybe while you're eating and it's dessert time and it's time for us to have some fruits or something sweet or whatever, we can place the banana just around. So he will start using to see the banana and to smell the banana. Or for example, during the therapy session, I will place the banana, I will open the banana and I will put it there. It's not meaning he has to eat it, but he start tolerating that there is a banana close by him, that there is the smell, etc., etc. So I will work a little bit on this idea. Okay, Ebrar, I hope I helped you somehow. And if not, please share my contact, my social media, whatever, to the parents, and we see how else we can help. Okay, so that's another thing. You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much for connecting and to listening. So, a ver, I am going to continue a little bit with the pre-writing skills. Excuse me, just give me 1 second, please. So, now I am going to continue a little bit with pre-writing skills. We had straight lines, okay? I'm just going to come back a little bit. We were having the thick lines, we were having circles, we were having small lines. The way how you can progress on this pencil control is to go to super mega thin, you know, and dotted lines. So, and as you can see, we change the directionality. You were first working on left to right. And now we're going to write from top to bottom. And the line is quite smaller. So the child has to work a little bit more on his visual perceptual skills. After that, once he masters, we can go for different variations of patterns. Okay, we can go for zigzags, we can go for different, as you can see, different prototypes. We can be, for example, going for something like this, so it's more funny, it's kind of like a maze, but not. So it depends. We can go, for example, then for shapes, because we introduced the dot system, so we can start managing shapes. That's all fine. What it's important is that you guys, therapists, parents, educators, whoever is listening and watching this video now and the future, etc., we have to make sure that we have a progression, okay? So we don't do randomly. Today I feel like thick line, tomorrow I feel like thin line, etc., etc. We try to progress nicely, okay? Now, so this is another thing. And then you have obviously like zigzags and other things. This is also important. So this is about handwriting skills. Now, dear friends, if you have more questions, please let me know. This is obviously not the end. We have a lot of things as an occupational therapist to work on. But sometimes I feel like we are a little bit stuck how to progress. And we don't know actually what comes first and how to do it. Actually, it gives me an idea to do a course about it. And the end, how we could finalize a session, we could be working on loops. Okay, so the loops are the most complicated one because they resemble the number 8. And as you know, and if not, I'm going to tell you, apologies, you have a lot of children struggling with number 8, and it's because of the complexity of the number. Because if you think about it, the number 8 is quite complex. So we have sometimes children who will be confusing the 6 and the 9, which is completely easy, completely understandable. If you have, for example, I have here a puzzle. All right. So if you see the puzzle, if you see the 6 and the 9, especially when they are mixed up, no, sometimes I mix them up and I say, where is the number 3? Where is the number 6, etc. If you see if they are like this or like this, you know, depends on the child and depends on the availability to understand and make the difference, it could be easily to confuse. So that's okay. But when we're talking about number 8, because of the complex pattern, here is when most of the kids struggle with. And working with pre-writing skills that I was showing you before, gradually, so you go from the thick line to the small line, and then we go with the zigzags, and then we go to the loop. You can prevent that the child will be feeling frustrated doing the numbers in the future. Because if I show you the number 8, which everybody knows, it's quite of a loop if you think about it. So most of the time the kids will be managing most of the numbers and struggling with number 8. Yes, so that's about numbers and about letters. I like always to combine, whenever we are working on letter formation, number formation, I always like to combine puzzles according to numbers, letters, whatever we are doing. Because visually it's important to see. It's important that the child that the child see what we are doing, how we are doing, and why we are doing it, and also a different way, no, of learning. We can have blackboard, whiteboard. We can be using the foam, shaving foam. We had very much fun yesterday because we used it a lot. You can be using puzzles with the numbers, with the letters, etc. Sand, whatever you have in the therapy session or at home. Soil, if you have a garden, so whatever, okay? It's very important that we understand the need of the kid and we address it as soon as possible and as more effective possible, okay? So this is regarding prayer writing skills. I'm not sure if you have any other questions or you would like me to stop like I did with Ebrard and maybe focus on something else. But yes, well, I am here for that reason. It's actually a very good question. It's a very good question, but like I said, certain cases sometimes they're very difficult to guide and provide information because every child is different and you need to understand the history behind. So there is no like, okay, listen, I'm going to give you this suggestion and that's it, no? But very frequently we work feeding here, obviously, because I do believe, and I will still continue saying that occupational therapists, we are great at this. We have to continue working on feeding. Don't make a big separation between speech therapists and occupational therapists. We can be a great team. We can work together and we can push the need of the kid further together. So I do believe a lot in feeding and I do believe a lot in the job of occupational therapists. And when we work on feeding here at Panacea, we most of the time I ask first thing I will ask the parents to bring something that the child likes, because I want to see, I want to observe, I want to check what's going on, how the child is eating, how is not eating, what is the issue, etc. How much mess we do or not, that's not a question, but still it's important to see even the behavior, no, of the child eating. Is the child paying attention? Is the child moving a lot? Is the child able to sit on the chair and just eat or not? So all of this is going to give you a lot of information. And yeah, and then after that, we go for the food that we don't like. Well, it's not like that, it's not that easy, but we go slowly. Like just like a week ago, we were having a kid who doesn't eat banana, and where he used to eat banana, but then he stopped eating the banana, and now we managed last week him to eat a whole banana here at Panacea. So, you know, we just have to find the best way, understand the kid, make sure that it's the right time to introduce the food, because sometimes the parents want the child to eat, but it is not the right time to start. It's the same like with the potty training. Sometimes we just want to potty train the kid, but the kid is not ready. So for every single phase and step, we have our time. So this is very important to know as well. Now, I am very pleased with today. Pleased because I think it was good tips that I gave you, and even for those who connected and followed, and for those who stayed for a little bit and they disappeared. I am going to be still meeting here every Wednesday at 7:30. Please follow my social media, especially the Instagram, because if there are certain changes, I'm going to publish there. I hope to do soon more videos for you guys. But just in any case, if you didn't see and you would like to show me your support, subscribe, like the videos, share them, connect on Wednesdays at 7:30. Maybe not every Wednesday, but time to time, especially if you have a lot of questions. Yes, thank you very much, Ebrard, for joining. Thank you very much for interacting. And yes, definitely, I will be seeing you next week, hopefully, okay? Every Wednesday at 7:30. Thank you very much. I will say bye, and I will wish you good evening and good rest of the week. Bye-bye.